Conspiracy Worldwide Radio, and we welcome our next guest tonight. He's got a monumental album, one of the best I think we're going to hear this year. Vinnie Paz, welcome back to the Friday Night Live show. Salam alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam, man. Thank you very much for having me. I always appreciate the support from y'all, and I appreciate the kind words about my record, man. It's always, always good that y'all brothers show me love. I appreciate that very much.
It is, and it's mutual, because obviously doing this radio show, we're looking around. We need the equipment to be able to put the show together and make it as strong as we make it every single week. And thank God your album came when it did. There was a bit of a dip. There wasn't much out there. This album came out, and I mean, to me, this is grade A. And I'm not saying that just because you're a guest on the show. I'm saying that because I truly mean that. There's some absolute killer tracks on this album.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I worked really hard on it, and, it's good to be, at this stage of my career and still feeling like this is the best work that I've done. You know what I mean? Because, I think certain people at a certain age when they start falling off, you know what I mean? And I felt reinvigorated with this record, you know what I mean? Being able to work with some of the people that, molded who I am as an MC and molded who I am as an artist, Lord Finesse and Little Fame from MOP, and that was an honor to work with Finesse. He's one of my heroes, and for him to be humble enough and, a fan of my music was an honor for me.
Exactly, man. Now, I've got this wrong, but off the top, I seem to remember we were playing a track about 3 shows in a row. Was that Warmonger that Lord Finesse laced? Was it
no,
that
Warmonger was actually produced by Little Fame from MOP.
Right, that's right.
Lord Finesse did a joint called Righteous Kill.
Right. Okay, we supported it, whatever it was. I remember looking on the credits, and I was surprised to see Lord Finesse on there with the sound of the beat. He really came with it.
You know what? Yeah, a lot of people said that when he was playing the new stuff. I was sort of amazed how, this many years, 20-plus years in the game, that he's been able to adapt and sort of still make relevant shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he still has. Like, he played me hundreds and hundreds of beats, you know what I mean? Stuff that he's working on, stuff, he's doing a ton of stuff. He was actually going the next day to all the majors to shop, like, more R&B-oriented stuff, because he's really, I'm not sure the word off the top of the head, but his range is very wide, you know what I'm saying, in regards to what he can do. He's done a lot of R&B remixes that people don't even know it was him. You know what I'm saying? So he played me tons of stuff. A lot of it is still, loop-oriented, that DITC sound. But he had specifically made 3 joints for me that day, and I was in love with the joint that I picked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can understand why. He plays the background, doesn't he, Lord Finesse? He's been on this show many times. He always takes up the offers whenever we offer him to come on the show, and you just understand how much work he's done. Like you say, in the background, he's not a man that's in your face. Now, this album, that when it came out, it seemed as if it sort of came out first on the web, and then it officially came out. You weren't happy about that at all, were you, at the time?
No, not at all, man. I mean, the thing is these kids today, they didn't come up when you and I did. You know what I mean? So they don't understand what it is to wait and, to have a couple singles out, to wait and to go to the store on Tuesday and to buy the record and to open it up and look at the packaging and look at the production credits and look at the thank yous. All that is a dead. It's unfortunately become a dead pastime. You know what I mean? So I was just as angered about that aspect of it as I was as people stealing music. You know what I'm saying?
I can understand that. Let me ask you this, though. Let's cut straight to the chase. How the hell did it come onto the net so quick and so many weeks before June 21st, was it, when it actually got released? How did it end up on the net? Do you know at this point?
Honestly, my brother, at this point in my life, where if I found out specifically where it came out, or I could specifically point out the person that was responsible, there would be consequences and repercussions that they would not be happy with. But the problem is, in this day and age, there are so many potential ways that things could get leaked. It could have been someone who took one out of a box in Germany, someone who took one out of a box in Japan, someone who took one out of a box in Spain, someone who took out of a box in Chicago. It's like you can't trace it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Or even the factory, of course, where you had it pressed up. I mean, this is where it could all be happening, couldn't it? From the actual factories, the actual the warehouses where it's all being produced. There could be people in there taking the CDs.
Absolutely. If you happen to have a fan in there, they're just going to snatch it, and you can never trace that. You know what I mean? So it's impossible, and it's like, it's really, it's chasing the dragon trying to even do that,
Yeah, it is. So how have you coped with that? I mean, the album's been out now for, pushing nearly a month now, 3 weeks at least. Do you think it has affected the sales of the album in any shape or form? Have you seen or felt the impact of any sort of depletion in numbers?
I mean, I have, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that everyone is feeling the same thing. I just read an article in Time Magazine about how much sales are dropping and how it's affecting Eminem's record being leaked early and Big Boy from Outkast being leaked early. So clearly the record industry has changed because no one's buying records anymore. They're downloading it illegally. The true heads like us that are becoming older is becoming sort of like apathetic towards new music. You know what I'm saying? So I've definitely seen it, but I don't know that it's just a direct result of my record leaking early as much as it is the whole music industry, like, sort of crumbling into itself. You know what I'm saying? So what it is we need to, as people who are supposed to be, sort of protectors of this culture, need to find new and innovative ways to make people interested in buying music again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it has to happen.
I mean, I made my vinyl a gatefold, a gatefold piece of vinyl. One of them is red and one of them is blue. You know what I mean? To make people want to be interested in buying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, to actually own something unique. I mean, a lot of artists add DVDs now, don't they? They add like a double CD. One is a DVD, one is a CD. But then if you look around on the web, not only do you find the album, but you also find the DVD to download as well. So, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. But I'll tell you something, though. You're in an advantageous position here because when I look through the amount of features and artists you've got on here, I shouldn't imagine you had to pay a lot for a lot of these features because these are family, aren't they? A lot of these artists on here are people that people that would have done it because they're either on the label or they're just pure family. But there are other groups and other labels and artists out there, they pay a lot of money to get certain artists on the record, and then people just click on a rapid share link and they just take it. And that's what we're talking about. The amount of money that a lot of, struggling labels are putting into the actual product to get the quality features. They're not making a penny of that back, are they?
Yeah, unbelievable, man. I mean, imagine giving someone $10,000 or $15,000 to do a track, and one person uploads it and that's all gone. You know what I'm saying? It's kaput. So it's like every move you make now, literally, it's like it's not even just affecting the business now because you just brought a point up that's very important. It's like, let's say someone wanted to do a song with Jay-Z or Jadakiss or Nas, someone who's in the upper echelon and might want a fair chunk of change. You might rethink that decision creatively based on the business decision of it. So not only is it twisting their business and people's money, but it's also skewing people's heads in their creative process and how they want to make records. So now everyone's trying to make records for as cheap as they can because there's no kickback. You know what I mean? You're trying to make a record for under $10,000 because if you pay Jay-Z $50,000 to get on a song, there's no way that that's going to be recouped.
No, not at all. Unless you've got a marketing plan which involves you inventing your own dance and appealing to, 5-year-olds with your music, then maybe, people like Waka Flocka or Soulja Boy might have a chance making some of the money back, but quality artists don't have a chance. And let's not even start talking about sample clearance nowadays. The amount of you know what I mean?
It's a nightmare.
This is all expenditure for hard-working, talented labels and artists out there. And what do we all do? What does everybody do out there? They just click download and they go, yeah, dope album. They put a comment on your MySpace. That's it. That's their contribution to what you've done.
Absolutely.
And this is where
we are. And the same kids complain that there's not enough good music out and there's not enough alternatives to it. And I try to explain to them, I'm like, you're not buying the records of the people who do good music.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like one click of a button and it's a wrap.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But we'll see. We'll see where all this goes. But anyway, I've got my co-host Menace in the studio. Let's talk more about the album itself then. Menace.
Peace, how you doing, Vinny?
What's the word, Menace? How you doing? Good to talk to y'all again.
Likewise. Well, I remember the last time you were on the show, you were running with the title of Assassin's Creed. What was the reason for the album's change of title to A Season of the Assassin?
Well, a lot of the things we're talking about, we're talking about, the state of the game. We're talking about clearing samples. And the Assassin's Creed, was an idea I kind of got from that video game. And I'm like, look, if they're, with everything that they're clamping down on, no one's making any money. Everyone's trying to come after sample money. I'm like, the worst thing I could do right now is get sued by some billion-dollar corporation over the name of the record. You know what I mean? But I had already done, like, a good majority of the record, and there's a theme to it, so I didn't want to really change any of that, you know what I mean? And Season of the Assassin just came to me, so it's like, I actually like it better now, in retrospect. I'm scared of big corporations, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're the little guy over here, so it's like, they'll just sick a lawyer on you and ruin your whole joint, so I don't need that.
Exactly. I remember we were talking about the meaning behind the title, Assassin's Creed, and we were really getting deep talking about it. So it wasn't an issue where you had decided to change the name of the album to not offend Christian fans and supporters of yours. That wasn't ever an issue, I'm assuming.
No, not at all. And like the intro sort of explains, like, where I'm attempting to take the album, and just the things that I articulate there, you know what I mean? Like, just the concept of the assassin, but sort of connecting it to music and, things like that.
Another change I'd noticed was the production on Same Story, which was originally produced by Anno. It seemed to be scrapped and reworked by Scott Stallone.
Well, there were two writers of the original song, of the original sample. Two girls, and we went to the one and explained to them, the song's about my stepfather and we want to sample this and blah, blah, blah. And the one girl actually cleared it, and the other girl wouldn't clear it. So I hate her, and I wish her nothing but the worst. I hope her career goes down the toilet, yeah. I think you have to be a real creep. I think you have to be a real creep to not clear something that's as personal as that song, that someone would write a dedication for a family member that passed away, and you won't clear the sample. And we were willing to pay. I wasn't just asking to clear it like, yo, we just wanted it, We were willing to pay whatever they decided the cost was. You know what I mean?
What was her reason? Sorry to jump in, Menace. What was her distinct reason why she wouldn't clear it?
Well, like a typical coward, she hid behind her lawyers and her people. So I think, she was sort of caught in between. I think her people were selling her on the idea that myself, like the Vinnie Paz project or Jedi Mind Tricks in general, like, had sort of, supported certain causes, or the music was violent and it just wouldn't be a good look for her, you know what I mean? But I didn't see it that way at all, you know what I mean? Especially if you hear the song.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you.
Yeah, I've had that. I had that in my car over the spring, and like in the winter months as well. Played it over and over again, man. Such a powerful track, and it really did grow on me. It became a track that I really loved, and I was surprised not to see it in its original form. So that's the reason why then she just wouldn't give you it.
Absolutely, man. I just literally could not do it by law. I know I leaked it, and I know how much the fans loved it, and like, that's one song that I'm like, yo, go out there and download, you know what I mean? Play it everywhere, download it everywhere, put it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that another artist, got to that point of their career where they can't see someone else's vision. That's very unfortunate, you know what I mean?
I mean,
and,
as unfortunate as it is, I mean, you just have to look at the fact that it is out there, like you say, and people have heard it, and people are still hearing it on YouTube and MP3 formats. So, I mean, it's
absolutely,
it's a positive and negative side to it. Would there ever,
I think J. Rue said it best, brother. You can't stop the prophet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, You know, you can't really you can't stop art, and you can't stop a one-man army, and you can't stop someone who wants to do what they want to do. They could try, but they can't stop me.
Exactly. Are there any other joints on this album that were initially produced by different producers or had originally had